Hey guys, Thursday, July 18, 2024. Let's see what the Black Widow has for us today. I'm going to start out with my master chart, and you can see that so far the Black Widow is just pushing lower. I have a hunch that this gap fill is going to get filled right down here in this area. We'll show it in the other charts or maybe in another video. But I want to start out with my 45 scale chart. Gann angles, you can see that we've failed at the 1x4 and has just been pushing lower. From the February 20 low of 152, we found resistance at the 30-degree angle, failed the 45, which is the 45 in regards to your price chart will be 263 on a scale chart. That was your 45 angle. And once that cracked, it came and failed the 60-degree angle, and now it is in no man's land. I could adjust this and now add, more fans. I just kind of keep the basics just to keep it clean. But these are the basics: 30, 45, and 60. Now that we have failed the 60, on my next video, when you see this chart, you'll see some other angles you haven't seen. And I want to now look for support on those other angles. On the Gann square, we are failing the 1/8, which is at like 207. We went down, or as a close, 203. And there's a vector coming in on 721 that I'll be watching for a possible turning point. But if nothing really happens, I think it's on the hunt to at least kiss 190, 184, around there, 182, fill that gap. And you can see that your last support down here using the Gann square would be somewhere around 182. And that's that area where the gap fill is. So it could potentially go all the way down here. And I can't see a turnaround unless we fill that gap. I was betting that seasonality wise, somewhere around July 2nd, 3rd, we were going to go up, pop, and then in the future, fill this gap. When it gets weaker, towards the end of the year, that's what I was thinking that was going to play out. But, it didn't play out that way. It's on the hunt to fill the gap. And if it does that into August, which normally August is pretty strong, so it's inverse. It's going backwards. Or doing an inverse, pretty much the opposite of what normally seasonality happens in regards to what nat gas, gets strong in August, September. And I mean, it may, it's just the Black Widow wants to do what she wants to do. So if she wants to fill this gap and then go and pop into August, September and still put a high, take out that high, I don't know. We'll see. But I'll continue. Pitchfork, negative. There's a level here you probably want to keep an eye on, 194, 95. I think that's going to be taken out to fill that gap. In regards to the ellipse, 723 you want to keep an eye on. But like I said, that gap needs to be filled. I can't see it turning around from here, ignoring that, but you never know. This was indicating... I don't know. I was kind of watching. I don't know what it was going to do, but you can see that from here, it really started tanking. So that's only my observations there. This trend line, that's the 45 that I was talking about early in the video. And then nat gas just continue trending lower. So this angle from here to here, this is a 45 mirroring this angle, and it even failed that. Some advance, we failed 225. That's advanced support resistance. We failed and took out 217, and I'm measuring these swing points. And I'll probably be doing this one, and then from the impulse wave to this one. That's the last one. As you can see, there's support somewhere around 202. We're getting close to that. I don't know. I don't think it's going to hold. But you never know. And then from this impulse wave, it's a 206, and we took that out. So if there's if there's any support here, it could be this, but I think it's going to be taken out. And then these are like you could kind of say like harmonic waves from this move. I watched this here, kind of broke out from here. There was one here. We put the high, and now we're entering one here. And if it is a pop or reversal, I think is going to be dead, which is today. And then the next one will be on the 18. This one is more harmonics and another kind of wave of harmonics. The other one, the first one, the one I just showed you was waves. This is more like a harmonic thing. And you can see it from this move here to here. You can see the harmonic here. I picked this move, measured move from here. Pick the peak here. And now we're getting one coming in now, which is the 18th. The next one will be 825 here. And then one big one will be around October 1st. So something hot here. Let's see. Let's go to the other clip. Okay, so this is my spectrum cycle analyzer. I thought this is the one that was going to work out. This green one, it kind of lines up with the, you could say maybe that 7.3, 7.4 turning point here. And you can see that here, this is where I got stopped out. And it didn't work out. It continued pushing lower. The next blue one, somewhere around, you could say 825. That remains to be seen. There's a cycle here I was watching. And it's kind of mixed. It wasn't really working earlier, but I kind of have it there just to see how it plays out in the future. 8.4. This one was very choppy here, so nothing there. This one goes all the way down to 8.922. So there was a pop here, but nat gas is just continue going lower. And this is my solar cycle, and this is the one I was thinking it was going to work out, which is this one, 7.3. That's when I went long and then got stopped out at 239-ish around there. And I thought this was just going to go from here and play out the seasonality and everything of the August maybe high. But you can see that nat gas is just pushing lower. It's like I'm going to fill this gap fill, and then I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And that's what it looks like it's playing out. So the solar cycle was up. Nat gas is going down. So that's that. And neural net, the computer, was also indicating July the 3rd. And that's what I was kind of leaning. It was kind of all a cluster of things lining up. It's like, oh yeah, it looks like maybe, using probability, this could probably play out from July 3rd. But look at that gas, what she really did. She's just pushing lower. So the computer failed here for a possible turning point, even though it was going up. I was looking at it as an inverse. So the next date I'm going to be looking at is August 1st. That's the other pivot. You can see, yeah, we passed that. That's the other pivot that maybe it could continue pushing lower, and somewhere around August 1st, we probably fill this gap. So it could be a lot of head fakes here. And if the computer's right, maybe August 1st is where we get this reversal once we fill this gap. But that's just me speculating. If it is not the first, the next one will be August 9th. So those are the two pivots with the computer, and see how that plays out. But so far, this one failed. We got two more to see what happens. And the Bradley model also was one that was lining up with the computer, and I was thinking maybe, things were probably building a cluster there. This was like July the 5th. And we kind of got a little pop here, but it was dead, and it was pushing lower. So using this Bradley model, the next date will be like, you can say August 16th. So maybe if it's this model that's going to follow, maybe fill this gap, kind of go sideways, and around August 16, maybe turn. I don't know, just speculating, but using different models to kind of get an idea. But, at the end of the day, price is king. So you have to follow price. Once it does what it's going to do, if it fills that gap and it goes sideways, then we'll just kind of forecast and plan dates out into the future, see for possible turning points. Not that we know exactly, but possible turning points. And this is one if this plays out, fill gap, and goes sideways. That's one. Neural net, the computer, it's not perfect, but those are other ideas to put your sticky note. If it goes down and sideways, possible turning points to the upside, even as far as September the 23rd. And then all the cycles I showed you earlier didn't really play out. The only thing is probably the spectrum cycle analysis for a possible bottom here, because this one, the green one, didn't work out. It may be down, fill gap sideways, and maybe somewhere around this ballpark around here. Go up, but that's all, speculation. All of it, it's speculation. Okay, so this is my natural cycles chart. And you see the annual cycle somewhere around 7-11, around there. It starts just kind of grinding higher till like August 13th. But you can see the nat gas is just continue to push lower. It's like no turning point here. So that's that. Fast annual. This is 3 years of analysis of seasonality, natural cycles. And that was the around there, July 3rd, 4th. This is the 5th, and it turns. You can see that nat gas continue pushing lower. This is 6 years, kind of close to the 3 year. And both of these went up and natural gas continues. So this is annual, 3, 6, and so far nat gas has been going down. Annual and decimal, which is the this green line. So that's the annual 1 year combined with 10 years. It does kind of like a swing low, trough around the 18th. So could there be a possible bounce here? I don't know. If it is, I think it's going to be a dead cat bounce because I feel like it wants to fill that gap. But that's just me thinking that, it's just so bearish. Everything is just so dark. But we'll see. We'll look at price action. So let's see what today brings. But I'm not expecting much. So I'm going to take all these out. And then I'm going to go into one of Gann's technique. He said to look 10 years in the back, 10 years in the past to see if there's any patterns. And so far, I don't see anything. 10 years, we just kind of went sideways, but kind of like in the direction that has been going. And it finds some kind of bottom or turning point around August. So I'm watching August 1st, 2nd to see, what happens if we just continue going down, fill gap, or bounce here and just chop around until August 1st. I have that on my radar. Gann also said to look 20 years in the back, in the past to see. And so far you can see that June, it gets weak, but then it continues using the 20 year, and it finds some kind of support in September. And then you get this rally. This is where we're at now. But what I've been finding interesting is the 12 years ago, which is 2012, the price action is kind of interesting. So low around 420 or a turning point, kind of almost lines up here, pulls back, which creates an inverse high. And then we continue pushing lower while we continue grinding higher 12 years ago and hit a pivot high around July the 31st for a turning point, and then it turns down. So I'm thinking if it's inverse the 12 years ago, 2012 price action, I'm thinking we probably go down, sideways to down, and somewhere around July the 31st from then on, betting that we're going to fill this gap. So everything is going to kind of, not that, it could play out that we fill the gap and then around there we turn. Or we fill the gap early and just kind of go sideways. But accumulation, distribution, and then turn and maybe ride August, the whole month of August, ride it up maybe to August 29th. So pretty much the whole month of a nice grind higher. So that's just me, like, really thinking outside the box, just looking at, the way I see the markets. That's what I'm kind of leaning on. But two things have to happen. We have to fill that gap, and we have to wait for price reversal, and maybe three, let it go sideways. Let it go sideways here, and maybe in regards to timing, July the 31st around their turn. And then maybe they'll pop it. But too early to tell, but definitely the gap thing, I have it in the back of my mind. In regards to the quant strategy, it's indicating it picked the high here. It was a little off by the 14th. But it indicates that from August 1st, there's a high probability that it'll trend higher. So looking at 2012, and it lines up. It's just, you just have to look at it in a weird way. So that's what I'm looking at. So just pay attention to August 1st and pay attention to the gap fill and pay attention for consolidation, for them to build their position, and just chop around, and maybe August 1st is the trigger to go pop. So this is confirming it. Maybe some other things that I've showed you early in the clip. I can't think of the Bradley model if it's doing that, or maybe it goes in deeper, but that's kind of where I'm leaning at. So let's go to the last clip. I'm going to go straight to a midpoint chart, so this video is not too long. Okay, so this is the last clip. I just wanted to show you the part of the geometry. So this dashed thick line here, this is the scaled 45, which I showed you on my master chart. So I'm around 263, 264. This is where it started getting ugly. And you can see that right now we've broken down this midpoint of the APF, and we've taken out this angle right here. So now what you probably want to do, if you have this program or Thinkorswim, you get adjusted to the shift. And now you see that now it's finding support at the 75%. But we already know that we already took out the 100 or the 0. And we took out this midpoint. So you got this one down here, which is your midpoint at a, sloped angle. Let's go to our channel. You can see within these key pivots right here, you're at your midpoint now. Fail the top channel here. You're now kind of finding support. Will it hold? We'll see. I think it's on the hunt to fill the gap. FT levels, the next level, which could get down to, it's 191 to 195. The next one is 173 to 175. And we'll go straight to gap fill. So this is what I'm talking about, the gap fill. This area right here. Between 190 and you could say 184. All of this should get filled, and maybe they'll push it lower, then to trap some more bears, thinking, oh yeah, we're going to kiss 152. And if that happens, maybe keep an eye out for 187, not 187. Let's see. Anywhere below the gap fill, pretty much all the way to maybe 177. Maybe I should put a mark there too. So they'll fill the gap. They'll want to make it look like it's going even lower, and maybe 177 could hold, but we'll see. And then maybe timing wise, August 1st, or if it's August 1st, August 2nd, from there turn. So they'll probably fill it up, kind of go sideways, and then August 1st, 2nd, maybe turn. But that's just me, looking out, thinking outside the box. My SO. So I was looking for a turning point here. That didn't happen. It looked promising, but it fell back here. It was the 1/3, which is 716. I was seeing a lot of things line up there, but that became a dud. And then you got your flush down. So fill gap and your half point from the June 11th high, that leads you to August 2nd. So this is where I'm thinking things are going to get probably interesting. Fill gap, kind of go sideways or just kind of chop around here, fill gap, and a lot of head fakes. And once we get to August 2nd, maybe using probability, maybe this is where the turning point is. So that's what I'm looking into now in the future. Measured moves. Well, we also got 720, which kind of leads us to the 152 low. This is possible, but we need to fill this gap. Looks like there's a lot of buyers coming in on the 18th, so there's a harmonic landing here, which I showed you on the master chart. So it'll be interesting. Maybe it could be a little pop, but I'm sure it's probably going to be a head fake. So you just got to be careful if you want to go long, then trail your stops, but don't get tricked by the Black Widow. Measured move. This is the one I want to show you. So this is the 12th. This one didn't play out in regards to timing. So the next one will be the 23rd. You want to keep an eye out. And then this is one here on the 26th. I got one all the way. Probably this is probably the next one. The 22nd, 23rd, then the 26th. For possible turning points using measured moves. This one takes you to 175. So this could probably be a price target. It lands and fills the gap and goes a little lower. 726 could maybe do a low and then just kind of go sideways to August 2nd. August 1st, August 2nd. I think that's it. Give you enough info, but if you're short, I think stay short. Short pops until we fill that gap. From the midpoint chart, key level to watch would be the 194, which we're getting very close. Bubbles are negative. Stokes are still pressure to the downside. On our monthly pivot levels, there's nothing below. So there's nothing to even watch here. Everything is just negative here. On the 4 out, nothing's here. This thing here is from the market profile, an area that I'm watching, and it goes all the way down to 198, and it covers up to $2. So this is an area you can see that it's kind of bouncing, and we're digging into the mobile, but I think it's going to be another head fake. And lastly, the 1 hour chart using the daily pivots. So let's see, using today. And the reason why you see that is this is market profile areas I'm watching. So targets to the downside for today would be 196 all the way to 191. We made a low of $2. And we have been going sideways, line in the sand. Your midpoint for today is 211. You're below the 200 moving average. And you can see right here, it got very, very quiet. And then they slammed it to the downside. More downside. So be careful here. Even though this is positive, just be careful because it could trick you and then slam it or just slam it harder to the downside. But I think we're going to fill that gap. So I'm not really too excited for any longs right now. And lastly, square of 9. So what was our low? Somewhere around 201. Pretty much here. Yeah, 197 is very close to you could say 194, 196, but eventually we're going to get to 190. And you could probably say 189 to 184 around here. So we're probably going from here all the way to here. And I think a bear trap for the turning point will probably be 176 to 177 right in this area, leading us to August 1st around there. And if it's not August 1st, it's somewhere around here to here. Just ignore the date. Once we get around this area, then maybe it's going to probably play out into August something, where there could be a turning point. But at the end of the day, you have to wait for the reversal. And we haven't had that yet. And things have to kind of show you that, we're making higher highs and higher lows. And that has not happened yet. We've just been stair-stepping lower, and all the midpoints are going down. So nothing is showing you that there's any chance of it starting to go up. So strategy, I think, is pop it, short every pop, until that happens, or at least until we get above the 200 on the 1 hour. Show you some signs of a reversal, or that, we're either going sideways or we start stepping up. But I wouldn't, like I did one shot on the 3rd, and that didn't play out, got stopped out at 239-ish. And ever since then, I've just been on the sidelines just watching to see how deep it's going to go, and the Black Widow is just going deep. So let's see how that's going to play out. And I know it was a long video, but I just needed to kind of catch up on some things that I missed the other day. Maybe tonight's video, it'll just be more Elliott wave stuff, just to see where we at there. And that's negative. I mean, we even blew through our wave 4 projection of 218, which was right here on the weekly. And we blew right through that, and we're already around $2. And the profit taken index is already around 28, 29, I think. Once it gets below 35, 36, the chances of you starting a wave 4 into a wave 5 is very slim. And we can really see that happening. So that's probably be the next video for the once the U.S. session closed. We'll just look at the Elliott wave stuff and just see what happened today. Let me know your thoughts, but you think it's gonna pop. Let me know why you think that from here, or you're kind of lining up with what I'm thinking, that we're going to go sideways to lower, fill that gap, and maybe towards the end of July, maybe the beginning of August, maybe there's a turning point. All right, I'm going to sign out. I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on nat gas.